What is going on, Draconians? Draco Invictus here with another Candid review. This time we're going to be talking about John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Let's get to it right now. And before I get into the film, I do want to talk about the elephant in the room. I've been having a problem with my wrist the last couple of weeks. I'm avoiding going to the doctor because honestly, there's not much that they can do. It's not broken. So they would end up putting me in a brace anyway. So I went and bought the brace. Hopefully I can keep my mobility limited, so that my wrist can heal better and quicker. And the only real problem I have, other than the limited mobility, is the fact that this is my watch arm. So my watch is over here now. And it drives me crazy. I just am fighting with it all the time. But anyway, yeah, that's what the story is behind this. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. We are going to talk about the pros, the cons, the nitpicks. I will give a score, and I am not going to spoil any part of the film for you. There will be no spoilers, no major plot points talked about. And I would appreciate it if you're going to comment down below that you leave those things out of the comment section as well, because we want all of our audience to be able to go enjoy the movie with just a little bit more information. So that is always something that I want to try and do with these Candid reviews. I did just go see the film. I was trying to record just a little bit ago and realized that I had my air conditioning on here in my Jeep. And so the playback was very muffled because my mount is actually mounted to my vent right now. I am getting a new mount so that these will be a little bit better, these videos, because I'm not I think it's level. I'm not sure. So we'll figure it out. But yeah, so keep spoilers down below. Now, if you do want to talk about this film, and I would love to talk to you about this film, then join me on my Discord channel. My Draco Invictus Discord channel. And I have a sub-channel called Spoilers Ahead. And it's about talking with other people that have seen the recent films that I've reviewed, or just recent films that have come out. And as the name would entail, there will be spoilers and plot points and stuff like that talked about it. So if you don't want to know, stay out of that room. But so let's break this down. We're going to start with cons first. Why do I always start with cons first? So that we're ending on a more positive note. So let's talk about what are the big cons in this film. Okay, it was 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think it could have been 20 minutes shorter based on this one con alone. There was too much fighting going on in the movie. I know that sounds stupid. It's a John Wick film. It's all about fighting. It's all about John trying to do whatever it is that he's doing, and it involves a lot of fighting. I get that. And we will talk about the fighting and all that stuff more in just a second. But there were certain fight scenes that I was like, yeah, this doesn't change the film one iota. He didn't get hurt in the scene, and, you know, it doesn't move the story along any further. It could have been totally eliminated, and no one would have missed it. And when I say there's a lot of fighting, you don't make it 5 minutes into the film before the first fight sequence. So, yes, just too much. I ended up being bored with the later fight sequences because they had jammed so much in. And the later fight sequences, don't get me wrong, had some great moves and stuff like that, and visuals. It was awesome. You know, it was like, you know, and that was it towards the last half of the film. So they definitely could have streamlined that a little bit more. Now, if you haven't seen John Wick 1 and 2, go watch them first. Do not go see this film as your entry into the John Wick franchise, because you will be confused, because here's the next con. There is virtually zero exposition in this film, which I don't always find is a bad thing. I mean, but they introduced some new characters and some new, you know, around the community that John, the world that he's in. And it could have used a little bit of exposition, just a tad. And it would have been information that you wouldn't have garnered from the first two films. But for the main story thread, you need to watch John Wick 1 and 2 before you go watch John Wick 3. Otherwise, you will... most of it will just be right over your head. Because this is a fleshed out world. And we get a lot of the information about this world from the previous films. It's just the new things that they added, I wish they would have given us a little bit more detail on. And that's going to be it for the cons. I do have a couple nitpicks that we'll talk about later, but let's move on to the pros. And it is the opposite side of my first con. It's the flip side of that coin, in that the fight sequences were totally kick-ass. I just wish there were fewer of them. See? That's where I'm going with that. So, anyone that knows anything about John Wick knows that Keanu Reeves does most all of the action stuff himself. He literally studied for months on how to handle a lot of different firearms, and we know that he's gone through combat training and stuff like that. It's just so crazy that one of the lead guys from Bill and Ted and the surfer bro FBI agent from Point Break is now a total badass hitman. And it's not really crazy. I thought that with the first John Wick, and Keanu Reeves really sold me on the character during that one. And so the fighting and watching him move around was just wonderful. And the other characters, the other actors did a wonderful job. Nothing felt contrived or shallow or hollow with the fight sequences. It felt very flowy and very natural, and I really, really like that. Another pro is that they told a story. Granted, there's not a lot of plot development here, but they told the story that they wanted to tell. They continued John Wick's timeline, and they they leave it open for a John Wick Chapter 4. There is no sweet finale in this one like Return of the King did for Lord of the Rings. So it's definitely open at the end. But if they didn't make another one, this was an okay end to the franchise. That totally works. But it's blatant that they're making a number 4, or there's plans or thoughts for it. So, okay, let's see, other pros. Great actors, good delivery. One of the nitpicks that I have is just, I'm just going to say cardboard now, okay? And, but the actors all did the best that they could do with what they were given, okay? And we'll get to the nitpick of cardboard here in a second. That is the pros of this film. There is a ton of fighting in this film. Like I said, a little bit too much for me, just because I ended up getting bored, and that's not what I want in an action film. I don't want to be bored in an action film. Now, I am going to give you a disclaimer here. There is some very, very graphic violence in this film. Incredibly. So much so, the gal that was sitting next to me had to stop eating her pizza. She's like, okay, I cannot eat this right now watching this film. She waited until it was more of like a conversation flow before she picked up that pizza again, because it was gratuitous and gruesome. So if that is not your thing, be careful. I am warning you now. Let's get into the nitpicks. Okay, the biggest nitpick that I had, again, cardboard. Some of the characters that were added in this film didn't have any depth. Because there was virtually zero exposition going on, when they introduce a new character, that character's not full. It's not a full character. It feels very cardboard. Now, the actors did a wonderful job of portraying those characters. I just wish that the script itself lent to a little bit more information to fill those characters out, to figure out what their motivations were and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's the cardboard. And then the other big nitpick that I had is that in certain fight sequences, and if you go to the film after watching this review, you'll be, that's what Draco's talking about right there. When they're doing some close-up gun work, obviously they're not even using blanks in the gun, because even a blank that's this far away from somebody's head could cause some damage as far as visually, and I mean, because that flash is going right there. And when I'm holding my hands up, I'm about a foot. I know you could be watching this on a 65-inch TV or or on your phone, but yeah, this is about a foot right here. And so in a lot of those sequences, Keanu's doing this when he's shooting. Because, I mean, yeah, he's pulling the trigger, but he's pointing the gun as he's pulling the trigger. And that is so that the SFX guys can then go put the flash in post, so that they're not endangering any of the actors or the stunt people by actually firing blanks that close. So yeah, he did a lot of gun pointing, like physically moving it forward. Now, in the scenes where he's like shooting 25, 30 feet away, he's not really doing that. It's much more fluid, and it's just point and shoot kind of a thing. But in that close-up stuff, it's something I noticed, and unfortunately now you will notice it too. When when you go to watch the film, you're like, he does point with that gun a lot. So yeah, that's it for nitpicks. So would I go see this film again? Absolutely. Because I spent a lot of time going, okay, trying to be analytical while still enjoying the film, and I would love to just go back and just enjoy the film without having to think, okay, what should I talk about, looking for things that I'm going to put into this review. Would I go see it again? Yes. But I would wait until it came out digitally or on DVD, Blu-ray, something like that, so that I could watch everything and just do it in one fell swoop. Watch all three films together. That would be, in my opinion, a much more enjoyable experience. Obviously, the fight sequences and stuff like that is very big picture stuff that you would love to see on big picture, on big screens. But I would enjoy the flow from 1 to 2 to 3, because it's not even a day from the end of 2 to the beginning of 3. So it's very much 1 to 2 to 3, and that's how I would watch it again. So I am going to give this film an 8.2. Again, some of the nitpicks, some of the cons kind of lowered that score a little bit. It was a great kind of summer film, because we're not into the summer film run yet. Memorial Day is just a couple days away, and that is what really kind of kicks off summer movies. But this was a great early entry into the summer movies. Summer movies typically aren't as deep as off-season movies are. A lot more action-oriented. So this is a good entry into that, and I think that if you like that kind of a film, if you've seen John Wick and John Wick 2, then you will most likely enjoy John Wick 3. They certainly didn't ruin this film. It was enjoyable. The audience, we were all gasping and laughing at the same time. That was something that I was very cognizant of. People on both sides of me, we were all reacting the same way at the same time. And no one got up early. And what was weird is, because I went and saw a matinee, it was remarkable how many people over 65 were there. It was insane. I would say at least half, if not 2/3 of that theater were senior citizens. And to think of the John Wick films, and, here's a grandma sitting by herself, 70 years old, watching Keanu Reeves kick some ass. So, yeah, that was kind of weird. But that theater is awesome, and I'm trying to work around my work schedule as best I can. The next movie that I am going to go see is going to be the live-action version of Aladdin. I am very stoked. There's only one thing from the trailers that I didn't quite like, and no, it was not Will Smith. I think Will Smith is going to do a phenomenal job of doing a Will Smith genie. He's not going to try and be Robin Williams. I think he's going to do his own thing, and I've kind of gotten that from the trailers. Glad to see it. Of course, Aladdin and Jasmine seem very well cast. Their voices sound great. Of course, I remember the original Disney, the musical, and A Whole New World and all that. And so I'm really excited. My only Jafar is going to be, I think he may be the weak link. At least from the trailer, he feels like the weak link to me, and that's kind of sad. Hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that Disney played a trick on us, and he's going to be a total badass, because that's what you need for that character. But I will be going to see that. It comes out on the 24th. I am going to be trying to see it as close to the opening day as I can. Again, it all depends with work schedule and stuff like that, and when I can get away and get to the movies. So stay tuned for that. And if you got any questions, comments, kicks, complaints, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section below. Please, if you want to comment on the film, avoid spoilers at all costs. If you really want to talk about the movie, head on over to my Discord. Link is in the description below. And if I somehow forget to put the link in the description below to my Discord or my Facebook or my Twitter, then please leave me a comment and say, hey, dumbass, you forgot to... No, don't say dumbass. That's not nice. Anyway, let me know in the comment section if I forget about the links, and then I will add them. So, yeah, dealing with a phone, having my computer not set up. I'm doing everything on a laptop. So my editing and stuff like that's very limited right now, which is why I'm doing a lot of the Candid reviews and doing it right here in my car. So this video has gone on entirely too long. I'm trying to keep these much shorter, and I'm over 16 minutes as it is. And now my windshield wipers are going off because it's sprinkling outside. But that is going to wrap it up for this Candid review, an 8.2 of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Go see it. Let me know what you thought of it, and if you want to talk about it some more, you want to talk about specific scenes, hit me up on Discord. And until next time, Draconians, you take care of yourselves out there. This is Draco Invictus saying this has been the greatest day of my life. See ya!